Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. For the second time for some of you,
Yeah,
noticing in the chat.
right. So this is a show about being never alone. And what did I do? I froze.
Yes.
And
And then
yeah,
she went away and said, I'll come back on. And then the screen was black. So, so she left me alone.
I did. I left her alone. I was like, oh my gosh.
And Nancy was going, yes, I've been left.
Can you see us or hear us, Ness? She says, I cannot see or hear either of you yet.
You need to turn your computer off and turn it back on.
Me?
No, Ness.
Oh, Ness. Okay. Hi, Sonia. Can you see us, honey? Let me make sure everybody can see. Oh, yes.
Debbie, yes, a lot of yeses.
Oh, yay. Thanks,
I can.
everybody.
Oh, good, Ness. We've got Ness back.
Oh my gosh, what a day to be doing that. Well, it's actually perfect.
No, we got new internet, and in the middle of Mercury being retrograde, my youngest decides we need to get new internet. And it was, this is in the middle of, I have taped 1, 2, or as many as 4 shows a day since the 19th of November. So little genius child decides it's time to bring the people in. Well, she got them here at 8 in the morning, and they were here at 8 in the morning, and they set up our whole new system. And so by the time I had to do something live at 1, it was okay. And so everything went along well. And then one day I was sitting here and I was cutting to somebody. We were going to start something at 3, and my internet was out. And I went and looked, and our internet has a weird name, and it said that I couldn't connect to it. So fortunately, Susan was here, and I dragged her butt down the stairs, and I said, fix it. And it ends up that the internet system we got has a secondary backup that's a Wi-Fi. It's a very powerful Wi-Fi. And so she said, it's fixed. So this is what you need to do if your the internet doesn't work. It's called do not connect. Now, what more intuitive would you have to push than do not connect? So I do not connect to the Wi-Fi, which blasts all over the house. And she says she's doing some other stuff right now, but during Christmas week, we're going to have a couple days to do things like clean the kitchen floor and stuff. So I said, you're going to fix my internet if we're going to clean the kitchen floor. So.
Yeah, forget the kitchen floor already.
Yeah. But yeah. I can tell you from taping lots and lots of shows with people, lots and lots of people have been having internet connections they never thought they had before. And it could be because, one, people are home working rather than being in their office, and so they're taking up a lot more bandwidth, or they're visiting with family. Because for some families, it's probably safer to visit over the internet than in person.
Yeah, I think it is too. Hi, guys. So, hello, everybody that's coming in. I just wanted to let you know that this show is about being alone and awakening. And it's funny because sometimes we think when we're alone, and I love, Ness, that you just asked this question, because sometimes we think we're alone, and actually that's a super strength they're finding out for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go inward and you're not so much looking at completion from society, or you're not looking at agreement from society for how you might act. Instead, you become autonomous. So you're kind of going into that witnessing awareness. Yeah. Right. 2 colors. So it's really quite.
Another one who had a question, and I don't know if because you're talking, Susan Tom at 1207.
Susan Tom. Oh, gotcha, Susan. Okay. Thank you.
Because it fits perfectly with what we're.
Yeah. It's, there's a lot going on right now. And I feel like sometimes we feel alone, even when we're surrounded by people.
That's the loneliest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Is when I was surrounded by 1,000 volunteers and a bunch of other stuff, and something was going on that was separating me from them. And they were all having a wild time and telling me how great everything was going, and I wasn't feeling any of it.
Was that on an election that was lost, or was that?
No, it wasn't. We were not losing. It was during Obama, but they were
Oh,
all there and they were all in the joy and stuff. And I was all in the weeds trying to figure out how to get from here to there by tomorrow. And the other loneliest time was when my husband and I separated, and I was surrounded by people at work, and I was surrounded by all these people, and they're all people I had learned how to tolerate or get along with, however you want to word that. And, even the things I used to be able to do that would snap me out of it would not snap me out of it. And I walked outside the building we worked in. It was a spring day. And I felt the wind hit my skin. And I did not realize I had been in such a bubble of wherever I was that I had not even felt the wind on my skin. And I go, oh my God, that's the wind. And they all looked at me like I was nuts, which you would, yeah, that's the wind and that's the ground and that's the sky. We're going back to kindergarten. But, and the other time was when I had gone through a long custody battle. And so the day it came to put the Christmas tree up, the kids were not going to be with me that day. And I thought, oh my God, I have to put this tree up by myself. And I was just mortified. But by the time I had that tree up, and after that, I never had them around. Because I could put everything where I wanted it. I didn't have to fight with them about lights and, I found the glory of doing something by myself.
I love that word, Nancy Jean, the glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a witness thing, man. That's amazing. Oh, Millie, everybody's home. Good. Yeah, everybody's like decorating cookies or doing something today. So a lot of people are lurking right now. Hi, Celtic Seer, and thank you for saying that. So I wrote a few notes. I don't know if they're going to be coherent because Dr. Joe D is a fast talker. So and I'm a slow writer. But he was talking about how, and pertains to women, but I think when people say that it pertains to women, a lot of times I'm thinking that it pertains to sensitives or empaths a lot of times too. It doesn't really matter so much what you identify with sexually sometimes. Anyway, women that live alone, he was talking about, are 30% more secure. They're you have like a magnetic energy around you because you're used to living autonomously and you're not concerned with what other people think with society, and you're used to being resilient, and that energy is like the law of attraction, and people are just attracted to you. Also, having to do this and rely on yourself, you find new neural pathways and your brain develops differently. So you actually enter it. Oh, it's not a real Dr. Joe video. Okay. Well, I'll change it then. Anyway, you develop new neural pathways. So an electromagnetic field, strengthening the heart and brain coherence, no longer searching for approval, independence, and resilience. So let's see, ability to handle emotions more effectively, emotional sovereignty, I can never say that word, and emotional self-regulation, new neural pathways of self-regulation. So you fell for the video and loved it? Yeah. And then you Googled it and realized you never made the speech, and some of the data and video it's inaccurate. I kind of love it though, Ness. It kind of really hits it, doesn't it? Next time, thank you. Next time I'm going to double check that that's the right one then.
Well, anyway, how sneaky. They snuck something in that was meaningful for you using the name of someone that you would listen to.
Yeah, right.
Well, the universe really tricked you, didn't it?
I don't have a problem with it. I really don't.
I don't Snopes nearly enough stuff. I mean, I'll pass something on because it sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most times I'm right.
Yeah. Research does show women living alone and single women do live better. Yeah. I kind of agree with that. And I kind of do feel like things are And that includes all different sexes for me. I mean, traditionally, most women are more barraged by society to think that, oh, I've got to take care of this person. I've got to take care of that person. That's kind of our gender thing. But I think a lot of sensitive men are in the same boat there. So, hypnicity. Keith's follow-up is today. Hopefully he's better. Yeah, I hope so too. Hey, Carl. Yes, I see you. So we do see you. And I do have your question starred, Carl. So I promise.
Carl, you got to get used. We're wandering. We're coming to the end of the year just like everybody else. And at the end of the year, I really wander.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the second Renaissance. I agree, Ness. I feel like it's a golden age of science, the arts, and it's a golden age of us remembering who we are. So, yeah,
and remember, if you know history, those in charge never recognized the golden age.
Oh, you're right. Because the church was really not nice to like Leonardo or Raphael. Raphael was kind of a pet, but
No, Raphael pushed it.
Yeah.
But it's not just the Middle Ages. It's in all times when new good things were happening. Those in charge were not paying much. I mean, talked it down and said, no, we like what we have. We're staying with the status quo. And new, creative, bright, intuitive things never come from the status quo.
Wow.
And history repeats itself. And if you don't like politics, plug your ears. Right now, across the river from Ukraine, there's 300 boats and 2,000 soldiers and all their military leaders that are Russian that are refusing to invade Ukraine.
Wow.
And if you do not know the history of the Russian Revolution from the Tsar, there was a ship called the Potemkin, and the sailors on it mutinied, and so the military surrounded the boat and they were starving them to death. All the people in that town came down to support the soldiers and to support the sailors. And it led to the troops, the Tsar telling the troops to turn on the people and shoot them. Well, they did for a minute. And then when the soldiers saw what they were doing, they were so appalled, they joined with the sailors and with the people. And that's the nexus of the Russian Revolution. That's the beginning of it. And Linda G posted that this issue's happening, and I checked it out. It's true. That one I did check out because there's so much crap about that. But there's a brilliant movie made by Sergei Eisenstein, and it's a silent movie. He made it in 1925. It's called The Potemkin, and it has the most incredible images because that's when silent movies had really reached their peak. And it's probably one of the most moving films I've ever seen. And I watched it in a film class where we did not have a person with a piano adding sound effects. You just had to watch it. But I thought about that last night, and I was explaining it to my youngest, what the Potemkin was, because this is, why would you learn this history? The only reason I knew is because I was in a film class. But it's brilliant, and I looked at it, and so I sent Linda a quick note and said, go look up. It's apparently on YouTube somewhere. You can see the movie. And what it is the soldiers didn't continue violence. They went into peace. And that's what brought, the whole Russian Revolution was a bloody mess, but the beginnings of it was because people refused to fight.
Yeah.
So that's your history lesson for today. But it's, and it's like history repeats itself when you don't pay attention.
Well, okay. I read this today. I so rarely read the news. I don't even think about double checking it. But I did read this morning that something was going on in Israel, and the soldiers are complaining that the Gaza Strip is a kill section, and they don't like that. Israeli soldiers are saying, "We don't like this. We're not going to do this."
Yes,
So,
memories of a Holocaust come back.
Yeah.
and that's what they did. They trapped people in the pogroms, or they trapped them in the ghettos, and they wouldn't let them out. And yeah, I mean, trust me, guys, we are going to see more of that happening all the time. And I'm a history freak. And so, and it's not just the stones and stuff and how rocks got used, but all of it. And I can see so many similarities that I sound like such a geek. No one wants to talk to me because it's not all peace and light either. It's this dark thing happened, but then there was so much light afterwards. I told you about the vision I had where I was in a dark space in a lean-to. It's completely black, and I was digging in the ground, and I was finding little flecks of light. And when I put them in my hand, they became a mirror. I mean, they would like unify together. Very Star Wars-y sort of thing. And finally, a voice behind me said, "Now's the time when we turn on the light." And they told me to turn my hands like this. And when I did, the whole dark space that had been around us was lit up. There was a bunch of other readers and other people who were close to me who were in that space too. We turned our light on, and that was the end of them.
Wow, that's powerful. I love that.
And everybody who's in this chat's one of those folks digging around in the dark, looking, whatever piece of light you can gather up that can help lighten your soul, look at it. And when you understand it's really light, go, whoa, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Hypnosis, and yet astrology teaches that everything happens in cycles.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Western and Vedic. Same.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream last week that you guys are probably sick of this if you've already heard it, but that I went to a cafe. It was in Israel or Turkey or someplace like that, or Greece. And I had lunch there, and there was a grandfather that owned it of one of my friends. And I came back at dinner time to give them some money because I didn't have any money with me when I first came. And everybody turned and looked at me. Well, there was a huge conference going on, and it was world leaders, world religious leaders, and galactic leaders as well. So it was just like this huge coherence of individuals. They were there to create peace. So I really feel like everybody's working on it right now. Maybe not the people in charge.
Well, no, they're working at it from their own. I mean, sometimes, some people just, you can't say, this is really bad. Don't eat that. The food's rotten, or you're going to get E. coli from, they'll mark some food as E. coli, and people actually go buy it because they're not going to get E. coli. I mean, there's a certain kind of stupidity that we can't do much about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the gathering, right? Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's a lot of people that do this, that don't think that it applies to them because they think of it as duality instead of non-duality. That's, they're red, I'm blue, whatever they're thinking. And they think that the law doesn't apply to them the way it applies to somebody else. So, yeah. I don't know if that made any sense or not.
No, it does. And the thing is, if we accept equality as a measure, that means, and I hate to say this because I really don't like thinking, but at the end of the day, we're not any better or worse than they are. We're all equals in this. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to see. And it's only when you can finally say, mistakes have been made. And quit saying by whom, where, what, when, and say we're going to fix it.
Yeah. I always felt like at the beginning, like in 2015, that we had to tread lightly because sometimes a lot of people that had gone to the other side that we thought politically were going to want to come back and join in. But now I think that included us, that we had to tread lightly and they had to tread lightly. But there'll be a time that we all come back together.
I'm not angry. In 2015, that election,
Yeah.
I'm not angry at the people who voted for Trump. I think they were misled.
Yeah.
And they had
100%.
a lot of PR happening around them. And I'm not angry at the people who voted for our side.
Yeah.
The 52% of American adults that could have voted in that election that chose not to, them I have no ground for.
Yeah.
Because and you know what I used to hear most often when I worked in politics? Oh, I don't want to vote because I don't want to get blamed. Well, guess what? If you don't vote, you're going to get even more blamed.
Yeah.
Make a choice. If you make a choice, then the universe knows what it's working with.
Yeah. And it's kind of been like that, right? Like Ralph Nader got on when George W. was being elected. I think that's what got him elected, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ralph Nader, and it was ego, and it was and this is the whole idea of the Democrats need to be more than right. But if you go back and you look at the people who were behind them, they were actually Republicans who were giving the Democrats false choice. Never vote, and I don't care who you are in this country. We have two political parties. Third parties do nothing but destroy. I mean, unless one came up and it was 2/3 of everything else. And I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Hypnicity says the sooner we stand together in peace and love, the sooner we'll rise above. Darkness cannot survive when you shine your light. Blessed are the peaceful people who let go of ego and judgment. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So
this doesn't have a whole lot to say about women glowing in the dark because they live on their own.
No, it doesn't. But we went off on a different tangent. We were talking about that. Sometimes we don't know what this we kind of talked about before, what we were going to do today, but sometimes we don't. And that's, I think, sometimes the most interesting conversations just grow out of anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But so, you guys, anybody that's having any issues with family or friends or being alone, there's several different things that you can do to kind of go within and help yourself. There's a lot of breathing techniques. I've got some on the channel. One of my favorites is the 4-part breath, the box breath.
Mm-hmm.
That is inhaling for 4, holding for the count of 4, exhaling through the mouth for 4, and holding for 4. And you do that 4 times. It's an ancient Vedic breath work, but also they do it in hospitals. If you were to go in with an anxiety attack, quite often this would be the breathing technique they give to you.
Well, I have the book, if I can see it. It's one of the first books I was reading during the Inner Size. It's a book called Inner Size, and I got it at a used bookstore. It's been around forever, but he actually has a whole chapter on the different breathing techniques, but he also tracks it through how at the University of California they would strap people up to machines and have them do this, and your brain waves change
Completely.
Yeah. And it's so if you want to say, oh well, they just say that because they're trying to get me to breathe and not feel good, it's not true at all. Your brain waves actually change, and I have a funny story about that. When I was reading at the wine bar, I'd read this young woman who was an attorney, and she was there with a bunch of other attorneys, most of which were guys. And one of the guys came up to me and he said, "Man, you really nailed her. You got it." And I said, "Well, I didn't mean to nail her. I wanted to help her understand where she was." And I said, "Well, what's your deal?" And he said, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine." And I go, "No, I can tell by the way you're saying that. You're not fine. You're not fine." And he sat down and we got to talking, and it ends up he worked for an attorney I knew. That was some senior attorney in his firm. And I said, "He's a bastard." And the guy looked at me, and I said, "Yeah, I've raised money and had to go to his office. And he wants you to crawl across glass to come get his check like he's so much." And so that kind of broke the guy down. Like, she sees the guy I see. And so he starts telling me how when they're in a meeting with a bunch of lawyers to discuss an issue, he'll pick him out. And he said, I know what the answer is. I know what I need to say. I cannot say it when I'm trying to talk to him. And I said, oh, okay, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Next time you're going to go into a meeting with him, you're going to stop in the bathroom. And I talked to him about box breath. And I said, when you walk out, you will have gone from a reactive brain to a receptive brain. And I said, and then you'll be able to make decisions on a much more conscious level. And he looked at me like I was friggin' nuts. And I said, try it. Who's going to follow you in the bathroom? They won't know that you're catching your breath, literally. And a couple months later, he came in and he sat down at my table. And he said, it worked. And I said, what happened? He said, I knew we were going in and I knew he was going to be looking for somebody to pick on. And I watched his eyes go around the table, but I'd already centered. And I already knew what I needed to do to take care of myself first and not just react to the fact he was like the cat that's going to pounce on the mouse. And he looked at me and I said, I could see it in his eyes. He knew I'd changed. And he went down the table and picked on some other guy and turned him into a stuttering mess. And I said, I said, have you started applying for other positions? And he said, yes.
Good.
But, and to me and he used to stop by the table and say, got any more good tips? He would never let me read them though. He felt like I knew him too well.
Yeah. Yeah. That can be a lot for people sometimes.
Well, especially if they don't. I know a lot of readers that won't be read by people.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because they're like, well, either they don't want you to see what's going on inside, in which case I hate to tell them it's futile. The second you say, I don't want you to see this, it shoots out of the top of your head. And it's like a little glowy candle over the top of you. But yeah. And it's not a lot of readers, and people have a right to their own privacy. That's how I feel about it. If I feel that resistance coming up, I'm like, you have a right to your own privacy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Try to read me sometime. I know all about readers who feel that way.
It's funny. I think the other thing that helps me a lot is to realize my soul contract with people. Like, is this my child or is it my sibling? Is this a friend or is it somebody that I don't have to have in my life? So it makes a huge change for me. And also to look at that they're all divine beings. We're all divine. And seeing that divinity in them and just loving them where they're at changes my energy completely.
It's not a horse race. It's your race.
Yeah. Yeah. They're fine. They're loved just the way they are by the universe. So, they're okay. And I guess I used to think that there were people in my husband's family, my late husband's family, and I really wanted to change how they perceived me because he was sick and they thought something was different. And you can never do that. Their life and their energy, their world is exactly the way that it is. And what they're going to see is what they're going to see. They'll never see that your side of things. Probably. Not if they don't want to.
Why should they?
Right. Why should they? It was a construct that I had that I wanted everybody to see that I was good-hearted.
Well, they all want you to know, you want them to know that you're a lovable, warm human being.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, there's a big chunk of me that isn't. So if they can go looking for that part, maybe a long trip.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Patricia's putting on her Christmas wreath on the front door and put up your teeny tiny Christmas tree and been a vibrational low, resting mostly. Happy holidays. Oh, honey.
That's so good, Patricia. If you're a vegan, don't listen to this conversation. I age my own standing rib roast. So it's been in the refrigerator, and you have to change the towels that are on it every other day and stuff. And really, honestly, if you eat beef, if you just do it once, age a really good piece of meat. It's just wonderful. And I've been doing it for years. And what aging does is it dehydrates the beef a little bit, so it makes the beef beefier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Anyway, so we have this giant honking piece of beef in our refrigerator that I have to. That's my every day I go in. I go, okay, this, and then we're not going to eat it until New Year's Day because my daughter's in freezing her ass off. Excuse me, YouTube, freezing her butt off in New York.
Wow.
With her old friend, with her best friend, and
nice.
I sent her best friend some catnip seeds, and Casey's going to buy the soil in the pot to put it in because this woman has cats.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I should do that. Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to answer some questions?
Sure.
Okay. We've got a few questions here, Starred. The first one is from Ness. Question. I've been in the hermit phase of life, healing and writing. This holiday, I'm feeling more isolated. Do you see 2025 moving towards more social and tribe-like? This is the perfect question for today. Yes, really. Hey, Sally. She's going to make a vegetarian chili.
Hypnicity. Go Google roast beef, prime roast beef. There's a lot of good recipes. I could not. There's so many steps to cooking an aged roast beef, and there's some vegetarians out there that are already gagging. So let's get off with that.
Well, Capital Grill does that. Yeah. Yeah.
You can cut it with a fork. It's wonderful.
I kind of get that when you come back out, it kind of follows this premise, Ness, that you're going to come back out and people are going to be like just drawn to you like a magnet. Yeah. Because you know how to listen. And they're going to listen to you because of that. Like listening is not a skill that we're taught in our society. We're taught to give advice and to try to help people. And if you're an empath, you're probably really going to try to help people. But sometimes all people need to do is to listen to somebody. So they're talking about that's part of your skill. Also, you've got freedom because you're autonomous. Like you're not worried about somebody else's approval because of that. And you can see the signs. So yeah, I feel like everybody's going to be drawn to you, dear.
Yeah, what I see is you pulled yourself out of being the position of being the money person, the person everybody came to for values. You got tired of sticking your sword in everybody's bag of bullshit. So you went home and rested and hid out and waited till you felt the internal message of when to come out. And the Two of Swords is actually the one sword's your mind and one sword is your heart. And you now know how to speak from your heart. So you're going to own the world.
Wow. Yeah. And on the bottom of my deck, Ness, I had to learn healing. It's going to be really healing for not just for you, but for others. Like
Right.
people are going to be coming to you because you're healed. Yeah.
And they're going to come to you like you're the master. This guy is not only a hard worker, he's the master. He's the artisan. He's the one that sits and does it because it's so much fun to do it. So it's like all the people on the repair shop. If you've never watched the repair shop, it's on YouTube. That is the show that is the universal of fiddly. I mean, these people take and put things back together and you're like, I'd go out of my mind if I had to do it. But they really take care of the finest detail. And Ness, that's because that's where you are.
Yeah.
You're perfecting who you are.
Yeah. That's amazing. Sure. We got you, Sal. Okay. Carl, are you still here, dear?
Carl was here at the beginning. Are you going to do readings today? No.
Yeah, I was asking. I'm not sure if he's still here. Carl. And then after Carl is Susan.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We'll
I'm
go
just going to ask what's coming for you in the next month, and I hope it's your spirit team that puts the cards down.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Why not? Because
you'll do it all.
Carl asked that question because other people wanted to.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan.
Don't freak when you see the first card, Carl. Your first card is death, but that just means transformation. Whatever you've been working on and you've felt very, very stalled, it's going to fade away because you got the Five of Cups in reverse. So whatever you've been grieving over or worrying about, you finally are going to have the freedom within yourself to let it go. And you're going to feel like a kid again when it happens. You're going to feel like, oh my God. And then you're going to feel like I can move forward with love and light because what the crap you've been going through in the past is done. Now, when you get the Ten of Swords this way, that means this way it means it's over, but this means it's done.
I love that. Are you still doing your classes, your tarot classes?
My
you
tarot,
the
we're
new
going to start one in January. And matter of fact, I spent an hour yesterday in the middle of all the other crap I didn't have time to do with Jeffrey, and we were discussing the class. And for those of you who don't know Jeffrey Ripe Color,
oh, he's great.
Go over and look at his channel. Every day he does a different card, and he goes into the symbols, the signs, and what we use when we train you is this deck, the Rider-Waite, because every deck you ever kind of run into if you're doing tarot, and even a lot of the symbols that are in the tarot are in the oracles, and we train you in that deck because all 10 of you, and we like 10 people in a class. All 10 of you will be looking at the same deck, talking about the same symbols. But Jeffrey, I've been doing this since I was 12, and I'm older than Jeffrey, but he is an absolute master at all the symbols because he ran a t-shirt company, and he looked for universal symbols to put on his t-shirts because he was selling them in New York. So he wanted a t-shirt that meant the same thing to someone from Germany or France or Italy, people that came in, or from the Asian countries. And so he spent hours and hours. I mean, he lived at the library learning about them all. And he has me buried. I mean, he'll look at this card and he'll go, oh, but look at the da-da-da up in the left-hand corner. And I'm going, oh, what? But he really adds a whole depth of training if you haven't seen how could you have not seen my 24 crystal advents? But the last one's tomorrow, and it's Alex, and she just took my course, and this was an unsolicited testimonial. She just started in on it, and I was really grateful for her for doing it because we don't hear from people that often. But people who take my classes, they tend to unify with other people who've taken my classes, and they practice reading together. And now I have 4 of them that are branching out and want to start their own YouTube channel, which will give Carl more places to go than us.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I get pretty much the same thing. A lot of spiritual growth right now. Mm-hmm. It's a celebration. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's going to be a lot of celebrating. Also some forgiveness. So Carl, I kind of get that this is
that's
forgiving
the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups. And the person you're going to forgive is you. Yeah, that's the hardest person to let off the hook.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The things we tell ourselves. A lot of times if there's a throat chakra thing going on that I feel when I'm doing a reading, it's usually because not what you say to others, but what you say to yourselves. And that's for me too. I'll take that one too. Susan is here. I would love a message from the guides. I'm feeling lonely this holiday and feelings are coming up.
I'm going to do what's going on around Susan. That's what I'm going to read.
Susan, I'm also getting something in your, I'm just doing a quick check of your chakras in your solar plexus is like there's some anxiety there. Your heart a little bit in your throat a little bit.
Those are memories of past Christmases.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. They want you to take care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can get yourself a massage or go to a sauna, something that you would enjoy. Your guardian angel is with you. So knowing that you're never alone, you're always surrounded by love and ancestors. Talking about meditation. So even though this little angel looks like she's all alone, she's in the universe and she's a part of the universe. She's divinely loved. It's going to take some trust. And I get that you've got a woman on the other side that's healing you. So it might be something that happened with a parent or a grandparent, but their energy is all around you. So I hope that helps, dear.
Yeah, it's definitely out of her family because she's got a card in her reading that shows stuff is dying. She's letting it go finally.
Yeah.
But she's having a real hard time working on it. And you know what? When you work on this stuff, you don't have to work on it diligently.
Yeah.
You can do it at 10:30 Tuesday morning and then not touch it again till Thursday at 11 in the evening,
Yeah.
Because it's what's going to get you back to the correct thing. To the correct view of your family. It's the distorted view of your family that's making you sick. Okay. Now, what do we have? You need to reach out and build new bridges so that you can see yourself accurately. You need to be reflected by more than there. And you're going to find the people to do that with. And this is the card, the devil reversed, that I laid those 3 things about your family on. Okay. And you are in the near future going to meet some people to plant some wonderful new seeds. And you're going to, I don't think this is necessarily a male, maybe a female, but you're going to meet someone who's strong and kind of has some good insights for you. Don't take their answers only. Listen to your own. Go on.
Okay, Carl. We read for you, so you just have to rewind. So I'm also getting, Susan, that if you want to come by, because you had that meditation card came up a few times already today, come by my channel at 8:11 Central, Monday through Friday, and we meditate. But before we meditate, everybody chats. And so there's a lot of people here from the tribe, and there's a huge sense of community. I know I'm not the only one doing this, but you are more than welcome to come and join in with us. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, and I'm going to have a show at 1 tomorrow. It's just, hi. I still don't know what it's about.
Hypnicity could use a message from spirit.
Okay.
Hypnicity, are you thinking about getting a new animal? Because I'm hearing that song, How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? Or even if you're just going window shopping, it's like it's going to bring you a lot of joy. Or volunteering at a shelter, an animal shelter. You're working on empowerment. So there's that solar plexus. So I feel like you're all powered up there, girl. And steadiness. So I love this. You're really finding your strength, Hypnicity. Whatever you're working on, it's really, man, you got this inner knowing, and I'm going to call that remembering. So are you taking a new course or something, Hypnicity, or have you developed something new that you're working on? Because I feel like whatever you're doing, complete harmony. So something that you're doing, girl, it's like they love it. And I love that. How much is Oh, no, your rascal is headed for the Rainbow Bridge. Okay, that's why they're saying that he's going to come back. So he'll go to the Rainbow Bridge, but he's going to reincarnate with you. It's like he's going to go for a little bit, but he's already planning, and they're giving me a big confirmation on that. He's already planning on coming back to you right away again. So even if it's a cat hypnicity, you'll know when you see them.
Okay. And what I saw is, yeah, you've been being very defensive, and that could be understanding your pet's going away and losing your pet. But you're going to be setting some incredibly interesting new goals for yourself. Your biggest problem is you don't know what you want. You can't. Oh, you gotta know what you want to get what you want. But you're not allowing that to color your whole day. You're not allowing it to feel dejected. You're looking at the possibilities of what else is out there. And the King of Swords is you make a decisive decision of a direction to head in, which leads you back to where you will have goals. You will have a star.
Yeah.
So if you open up and don't get distracted by all the things that didn't work, try the new things that can work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you look at the people walking in the snow, these guys, turn your butt around. Behind that window is warmth and food and people who actually have shoes on their feet, which you don't. I mean, but they're actually, the little guy's kind of looking up like, maybe we ought to go over there. And the woman's like, no. So.
Right. I never thought about that card that way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's stuff you learn from hanging around with Jeffrey.
I love that.
Oh,
I might have to
walking through the snow. He lived in New York a long time. He knows all about walking through the snow.
Yeah. I'm glad he moved to Mexico.
I am too.
Yeah, trying to find your place. You know, we're all trying to do that every day, aren't we? Find our place in this life. So
we won't if we always focus on it didn't work before. Well, that was before. You know, the clue to life is divine timing.
Yeah. Yeah. She says, thank you. I'm pretty sure I was charged with crimes for being a healer in a previous life. Yeah.
Oh, you could have that happen in this one.
Yeah.
Forget previous lives.
For entertainment only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sal. May I have a reading for the upcoming visit from my brother, Jim?
Okay. And this is for entertainment purposes only, so you know.
Jim feels kind of reserved, Sal. I don't know if that's the way he is, or if that's, but I feel his heart chakra, something a little different. And then I get the card focus. So this angel has a lap full of roses, but they're looking the other direction. They're not noticing all the gifts that they have. So there's a lot of music coming in. There's harmony that's offered. And I think that you guys are going to have harmony together, because there's going to be truth and integrity. So it might take a minute. I'm kind of thinking that's like you might have 48 hours or 24 hours. That's kind of like,
excuse me. Jeez.
Bless you. That we don't, you kind of not setting into it all the way. Oh, he had a CAT scan last week and worried about him. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to be okay. You guys are going to be manifesting. So I get that it's going to be a huge help for him to be here with you. And it might there might be some stuff about that, but I get that being with you and talking to you is going to be very healing for him.
Okay. Yeah. He's hold me. I hope whatever the hat scanned wasn't his lungs. He's always had things he wanted, and now, okay. And now he's falling out of that. And then you have 3 2s in a 5-card reading. And this is incredible. The first one is it's mind over heart. So you just got to let that develop. You are his gateway to some sense of reality. I don't think his illness is going to be as bad as he thinks it is.
Yeah.
But his terror is money. Like all people are. What if I get really sick? Am I going to end up, on the outer banks of some ambulance entrance, Just be aware he's in a very sensitive position. And when he first gets there, there's not going to be the fighting there used to be between you. There was just a distance. Somebody in your family created a distance between the two of you. And he has a lot of worry, which would follow with having a CAT scan. But he's coming to you because you're home to him.
Yeah.
Keep that mental image.
Yeah. I wanted to pull one off the bottom of the deck. I got Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he's going to be, it feels like somebody's on the other side helping. Yeah.
Okay. Teri, how much more time? In 5 minutes, I have to go. I have a 12-month reading.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm still doing.
Well, let's do Suzanne's and let's do it for the whole group. What does 2025 have in store for me?
Okay.
And thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to use what's the lady yesterday called my pretty deck.
Your pretty deck?
Yeah, it's a Marchetti. It's one of his. It's one of the ones that it's made with linen and not with.
Ooh.
And
maybe I'll use one of my pretty decks.
And they're very medieval looking paintings. And I got them because 2 of the pages look just like my grandchildren. So,
wow. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I put it away. That's why I couldn't find it. Usually they're on my desk underneath other cards.
Oh, I have a whole bank full of cards if I remember to pull them over. I have cards from Asia. I have cards. I have an Estonian deck that's written in Estonian.
Wow.
And you can read them. I mean, I did have to get a little Estonian dictionary to figure some of it out. What's coming for us? Oh, test of our strength. Change. I'm going to go through this real fast. We're still getting a lot of misinformation, and that's going to carry on, but it's going to get better. The power structure, the power structure we allow in, it's the one we pick, is going to help us. Right now, we're all feeling worn out and not strong, but the way we're going to find our strength is to not bear bad witness to each other, to not bear the 5 of swords against each other, and to be generous. And I think a lot of the bad witness is going to go away as people begin to understand it. And where it's heading is people being more sharing with each other. That's the 5 of coins. So my pretty deck says we have to pull ourselves out. One of the things I love about tarot is you can always turn a card. And so even though it showed up in the reading this way, we can decide we're going to do the strength. We're going to do the inside work and have the spirit tame the animal inside of us. So,
what is that one?
Strength.
I love that card. So I get unconditional love. This is where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like that's what we're working on this year. When we get it, we get the sun. So, but there is darkness all around. So, not that it's horrible, but we're going to have to work on it. And that's what we're here for. So use your imagination to come together. It's going to be like a vision quest that we're on. So we're going to kind of feel like at times it feels like things might look like that is so absurd, but we've been there before. So we know the absurdity. So we'll see things a little differently this time. Yeah. I love the lion on the strength card. So do I. And then on the bottom of the
lion is. The lion is like when you used to call for your parents because there was a ghost in the closet and they'd open up and it's not there. That's what the lion is. It's really all the things we fear that we make physical. Well, now it's out of the closet. We don't need our parents anymore, and we've tamed the lion.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's here. Were your ears burning? We were talking about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about what a wonderful tarot teacher you are and how everyone needs to sign up for the class through my website.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you for being here. I know you have to go, and thank you everybody that's here. We really appreciate all of you.
A woman that I cut off by accident last week. It's another reader. I'm doing her 12-month reading. So here I am. That's him.
All right. Well, everybody have a great one. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.